Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live,
Let
Thrive. What is up, the Myka man?
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. It is a beautiful Friday. I was doing some short-term rental stuff earlier, and I am good. How about you, man?
Short-term rental stuff, you say?
Yeah.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
I took a sip of tea while you were laughing. Sorry. I thought your laugh would last longer. Oh man, we're always in this shit, like 100%. Get the what are we? Parental advisory, explicit lyrics. Is that what our show is?
Yeah, that's what they said on iTunes.
Yeah. So I got the first curse word in, so we're good to go. Yeah, battling every day, man. This is what we do. This is the life we chose. So we are coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, Texas. This is Live, Let, Thrive, your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, Uber, Lyft, share economy, midterm, long-term rental, fun stuff in the world, short-term rental too. Yeah, like I said, coming at you from Fort Worth, Texas and Arlington, Texas. And we got a great show for you guys today.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. What we got today, Stevie Stacks?
We got a great podcast about short-term rental stuff, and you wanted some topics. Usually when you ask me that, I'm like, oh, we got a great guest and blah blah blah. But this is just a me and Myka app, or an S&M app, if you will, Steve and Myka.
Oh my, yeah, okay.
We could talk some S&M too. I think y'all were talking in the chats about the the love rooms that y'all wanted to put out there. But
oh yeah, that is coming. There's a guy on Clubhouse that does that, by the way. So yeah.
That's cool. And OnlyFans and all that stuff. So one thing something that happened today that Mikey Brown, Mike Brown of the Live Let Thrive crew, he told us about this another Airbnb bug. Do you know something about that?
I had already heard about it a while ago. The one that unless it's a new one, but when I looked at it, it seemed like to be the old one because Airbnb changed the instant book feature. Where you can, I guess you can change it to like 3 different layers. Like, hey, this guest has good reviews, and then there's another layer to it. I need to pull it up while I'm talking about it, but there is the original glitch was if you had instant book on, your listing just wasn't showing up. I think that's been fixed. This new one, can you kind of go into detail about what it was?
Yeah, from what Mike Brown was talking about, he had an instant book on, but he had it where only guests with 3 stays and 3 good reviews could book you. So anyone that's only used Airbnb, twice couldn't book you. Anyone that's only used Airbnb once before, even though they got 5-star glowing reviews, they could not book your place. So that narrows it down. That gets rid of a lot of people. I mean, I think because a lot of people are still, in this day and age, still fresh to Airbnb, still getting their accounts up. I would say about, if I venture to guess, I would say about 30 to 40% of the people in this whole freaking planet are on Airbnb, but that still leaves 70, 60% that aren't. So by having that little toggle flipped over, without knowing, he was keeping himself from getting a lot of bookings. So I think a lot of people out there might have that toggle where you can only approve, only people that can instant book are people with 3 stays or more with 3 good reviews. And if you have that on there, people can't instant book. So you go check your toggle, make sure you're allowing people with less stays. I believe you said there's different choices they can choose.
So what I'm talking about is there's the instant book choice. So after you turn on instant book, you have 2 other choices. You can do good track record, and then you can set a pre-booking message. There's 2 little tickers. We're talking strictly on Airbnb here. The thing about the 3 stays, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, he sent it. Let me pull it up. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, so the good track record is what I'm saying, and that is saying this guest has completed a stay without an incident or a bad review. Now the 3, I really want to know, is that Or also, was he sending that as a new release, or is that already released?
So this is what Mike Brown sent. Okay, well, he said, I swear he said 3. But anyways, basically people who, okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so right now, only experienced guests can book this place. This host is only accepting guests with 3 or more trips on Airbnb for their reservation. It'll be open to all guests soon. See, I'm not. Yeah, see, I don't know if that's what that means. That good track. He's saying the good track record means that. That's interesting because I've had people instant book my place with good track record on, and they had 1 or 2 reviews, 5-star. It's interesting. No, or maybe the guest didn't leave them a review. That could be it too. You see what I'm saying? So they might have 2 5-star reviews, but the other guest didn't leave them a review. I'm assuming because that happens a lot.
True.
That's also I think the Airbnb actually has a filter where it says how many trips they've actually taken. So yeah. But that is, you do want to kind of play around with that setting because that setting does kind of control a lot about who can come to your place. Me personally, I do have good track record on, just so it kind of gives me that peace of mind. Someone does instant book, I know that it's usually a pretty good guest or an experienced experienced guest because you actually don't even want a host staying with you. But
you kind of cut that word off early. You said experienced hoe.
Oh,
finish that.
No, I meant to say experienced host, but you want an experienced host staying with you.
Okay, host.
Those are the most picky people there is.
And see, I mean, we've been great at getting payouts. So we no longer, and I'll say it like this. In our more inner city, more little tougher neighborhood units. We're not so in the
yeah, I mean, people have units in the hood.
There you go. It's hood adjacent, like Myka likes to say, hood adjacent. We don't fear putting inexperienced guests in there with not if they have a 1-star review, you're gonna go look why they have a 1-star review and all that stuff. But if it's like someone new to the platform, if they start messaging you, say, hey, we're coming here because we're going to a concert, or we're coming in, and they give you a reason. If they just try to book, and don't say nothing, you ask them a few questions, they don't say nothing, it's a bit of a red flag, right? You want to at least get a few words out of them. Hey, what are y'all coming to town for? But then again, like I said, we're not too fearful anymore because we've been we have a great VA that gets us the payouts, man.
That is one underlooked thing. If you can know how to get good payouts, then you can do a lot. It opens you up to a lot. If you have a good cleaning team, you can be a little bit more lenient. Because I think the biggest payout we've gotten, I think, was the $2,500 I told you for the marijuana smoke. And that's just a matter of documentation. We've always told you guys, if you're using Turnover B&B, make sure your cleaner understands that they can create invoices through Stripe, because Turnover B&B gives them a Stripe account, and that's also where they're paid out. But you can have them create invoices in there, and that's how you get paid out for things like smoking, like ozone machines, like telling them, hey, if someone smoked in your unit, you need pick evidence of the drugs. Like if it was an illegal drug, you need evidence of the drugs. You need like a picture and video, evidence of the drugs, and then just say you had an ozone cleaning machine come and clean it, and have your cleaner write up an invoice, and they'll pay you out usually most of the time. So we've gotten large payouts. So that is a very good tip that a lot of people don't know. If you have a good cleaning team that knows how to write up some invoices, you can get some pretty big payouts. Yeah, like
they got the little police vials where they can put the white powder in there, shake it up. Look, check it out, Airbnb. It turned blue. You know what that means? Fentanyl. I don't know.
You don't want that in there.
You don't. Wow. Oh, dude. We talked about that in the little chat group we got.
Oh, yeah. Go into that. What happened?
So, from what I read, it was a family stayed at this Airbnb in Florida. And so apparently before they stayed there was a wild party at this particular Airbnb. Cleaners turned it over, cleaned it up as good as they could. And they, so this family with a little 19-month-old, that for somehow the 19-month-old got a hold of some fentanyl and died. Dude.
Ooh.
And so this family is suing Airbnb, of course, because they got the big bucks. They're
Yeah.
suing the owners of this home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're suing the manager, whoever the management company who was managing this particular Airbnb. And I think I'm not sure if they're suing the people that partied there, because the people that partied there say, yeah, we partied. Yes, we had cocaine, but it didn't have fentanyl in it. That was their excuse. That was their excuse, which is
How would they get that? This is one concern I had about it, because I remember the article. The only concern I had about it was the previous guest who had the cocaine. Isn't that host's cleaning company supposed to be cleaning up? What are they cleaning up?
And then we talked about that too. I mean, and what if that cleaning company was on a certain app that we use to find cleaners? Not to diss any apps out there. I'm not going to say any of these apps, but would they go after that particular app and say, hey, these cleaners that are cleaning these Airbnbs need to be vetted and need to be able to, keep dangerous things away from babies?
Sadly, if it was me and that happened to me, I would go after all of them.
Everybody.
Because one, this is how I look at it. Airbnb, you control payouts. Since y'all got y'all hand in the pot, y'all got to take some blame. The owner of the property, it's tough on the owner, because damn, if he has somebody managing it, he probably don't even know what's going on day to day. I don't really know, but he has to take a brunt of the hit. The management company, I would think they would take a huge brunt, because you're the one who controls the cleaning, the operations. And then the past guest, I don't even know how they would be involved, because it's like, how do you even know the past guest information? Even if the management company, and I feel like this too, though, there has to be something in Airbnb's policies or the management company's policies that they're not releasing public information. Because when I created my website, I have a terms and conditions page where it says, hey, the information you give us stays with our company. So that's a very important page. Actually, Stripe, if you actually have a Stripe account, they're now enforcing you to have that on your website and asking for the link to it. So yeah, I don't know, that's crazy, but yeah, that did happen. That Airbnb is being sued. We'll see if we can actually put that article in the show notes. It's a very, very sad. Prayers up to the family. They did lose a loved one, but yeah, you got the cleaning company, man. You got to definitely be on top of that.
And yeah, I'm looking at the article now. Oh, wait a minute. News requested a response from the property owner. His attorney said they have no comment at this time, and they reached out to VRBO.
Oh, it was VRBO.
To hear back. I guess these people stayed at VRBO, but was the party at, how everybody's on both, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. The property owner, rental manager. Okay, so they're suing. Let me see. Kornhauser, which is who the hell is that? As well as the property owner, a rental manager. Let me see. Kornhauser and the property owner have denied allegations. Okay, I guess Kornhauser was the partier, but yeah, they just okay. So it says Kornhauser confirmed he rented the home from July 30th to August 1st and had booked the home. Let me see. That's when they had the wild party. That's it said. They didn't have any fentanyl, but they had drugs. Because the cops were called to the house for the wild party. It's on record. Like there was a party before these guests stayed there. So it's okay. So if they, I guess, reached out to people about this incident, I'm sure that's on record who was having the party beforehand, so they could definitely sue that person.
Okay, so you have a party on August. You have a party in July. Police get called out. Did the police go inside and search then and there? Or no.
Don't know. They said.
Oh, the guests found. I mean, we need all details.
Yeah, we need to go into more details. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, you guys check it out. But yeah, what I would be looking at is how would the new guests get the past guest information, and also I think. But honestly, the cleaning company dropped the ball, and the management company dropped the ball, because they're supposed to be looking at like, okay, who the hell is supposed to be cleaning this unit, and why didn't they find this? And it is one of those situations where a baby can't find anything. I have to keep my 14-month-old out of everything. You know what I mean? So it is one of those situations, but at the same time, you drop the ball on the cleaning. And also that's also an issue with the short-term rental space, because now you have hosts like that are out there with bad cleaning companies or bad management companies. Now that comes back to the entire industry. You know what I mean? Now Airbnb might have to tighten up, or VRBO might have to tighten up on who they let on the platform. You know what I mean? You already got people's accounts been banned for no reason. They don't even know what's going on. So I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know. Like, maybe there needs to be a certain level of co-hosting, right? Because anybody can go on Airbnb and be a co-host, and you ain't accepted one reservation before.
Well, I mean, it's hard to do. As big as it's grown, how are you going to make sure everybody's got great cleaners? How are you going to make sure everybody's got great management companies? How are you going to make sure everybody's in a great house in a great location? I mean, any run of the mill mom and pop can manage any hotels, Holiday Inns, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the big corporations, but they can, all these roadside hotels and motels, pay by the hour with the vibrating beds and, crack going on and, killings and all kinds of, prostitution. I mean, anybody can manage any of those. So, and that's been going on forever, right? Murders and drugs and human trafficking and all that stuff's been going on in these hotels, motels, forever. So yes, an incident, you attach Airbnb to it, it's going to be national news. Someone ODs in a hotel or motel, it doesn't make the news, right? So I'm just saying it's hard. I'm not, I'm sympathizing with Airbnb on this one, or VRBO, whatever it is, because how are you going to police all these different users all over the world and make sure they're doing everything perfectly? I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah, that is true. It is impossible, man. That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. That's a messed up story.
It's a messed up story, dude. And yeah, man. So how do we transition from that?
Airbnb bust over, or did it ever exist? Man, the bust seems to be over, man. It's I put my cleaning fees back on and I'm getting reservations. So I don't know. It's interesting to see what's going on with these different unit types out here in the short-term rental space. I'm noticing people don't like paying a cleaning fee on a smaller unit. On bigger units, they don't really mind, from what I've been seeing.
Now, here's the thing, I had it on my show notes too, talking about the wild swings in this industry, because it's like, you ever seen that show, that movie Rounders? Okay, it's with Matt Damon. He's a poker player and all this stuff. It's a movie, about 15, 20 years old by now. It's a great movie because he's a poker player in the streets and shit. He's really good at it, whatever. It's right at the time that the poker stars started taking off, all that stuff, the World Series of Poker and all that shit. Yep. So it was pretty cool. Anyways, they're talking about Texas Hold'em, this poker game. Everybody knows what Texas Hold'em is by now. You flip over 3 cards, everybody on the table shares those 3 cards. You have 2 in your hand, and you can go all in. You can go bet a little, but go all in. Put your whole stack against people. And one of the cool quotes about that movie, there's a bunch of them, but one of them that I could think of is that a lot of professional poker players stayed away from Texas Hold'em because they couldn't handle the wild swings. You could win $1 million in one hand, lose $1 million in one hand. You can go up 100,000, go down. It just goes up and fluctuates back and forth. And I started thinking about this short-term rental game and how it's been doing that to us, man. Not just us, but people, operators around the world. Because I mean, it was like before COVID, it was starting, going great, booming. Everybody's getting into it a little bit. COVID hits, boom, everybody loses everything. Bankruptcies left and right. Everybody getting out of the game. Right as little few months after COVID, it just started. The people that were still in the game just were making money hand over fist. So it was shot back up again, right? To the point where it got oversaturated, then tanked again. Then those people started hopping out at the right time when the right season comes, and then it's skyrocketed again. Right now, it's going gangbusters for us, anyways. I can't speak to everybody, but man, the short term rentals are just. just out of control right now. We're getting bookings left and right. We put cleaning fees back on, like you said, like you did, because it got too, we went too low on our prices, and now all of a sudden we got booking like crazy, so we had to start raising the prices and adding back cleaning fees and stuff to combat it. And then the midterm rentals, dude, it went from like zero, because it seemed like everybody and their mama was on Furnish Finders, right? And reaching out to these insurance companies and all this stuff. The cat was out of the bag on that. And then it was like they were like it was hard to score those anymore, and then all of a sudden, now I get like 3 or 4 inquiries for the same property for the same dates, and it's not, I don't have enough inventory to fill these midterm rentals, man. It's just like, it's these wild swings in the industry, and I'm used to, I freak out sometimes. I'm like, dude, it's not going good. What's going on? Are we going to survive this? And all of a sudden, boom, it's just booming again. We hit another oil well, and I'm just like, if you just stick to the principles, get a good product, put it out there, manage it well, treat people well, and just stick to it and don't quit. You're gonna be all right, and you're gonna learn. And most people can't handle these wild swings, man. No, most people, this isn't a business you want to get into if you can't handle these heart-stopping, swings back and forth. If you want something more predictable, I don't know what you can do, sell Girl Scout cookies or whatever. But if you want to make it in this business, you got to have some fucking thick skin. Okay,
this is a question about the wild swings. Where are the wild swings coming from?
People can blame Airbnb bugs, but VRBO was struggling at the same time that Airbnb. It was not like everybody was getting booked out of VRBO or what's it called, Furnish Finders, or all of a sudden everybody's got a million freaking midterm rental bookings. Everything seemed to struggle around the same time, and everything seems to come back and pick up at the same time. I think it's just natural cycles, back in the day, okay, a regular cycle would be during the winter it's going to be slow, and during the spring and summer it's going to be high, and then the fall it's going to slow down a little, and so, but now I think there's cycles inside of cycles. It's getting a little more complex, especially with people hopping in and out of the game and causing, and messing with the inventory and stuff like that. It's just people could all jump out and quit in January. All of a sudden, you're going to have a big fucking February because there's no inventory for the people that are traveling in February. It's just, I think a lot of it's just natural cycles in this business that we're all trying to figure out and learn.
Yeah, I think it's natural cycles because, like, right now, 6 out of 9 of my units, like my owned at arbitrage, they're booked midterm. They've been booked midterm quite a while. What I'm starting to see is, I think we let the OTAs control the swings. And once they control the swings, we all go into saying it's slow season instead of, we haven't really worked on our businesses and built a brand around it. That's what I think it is. And I think what happens is a lot of people are comfortable doing that. So no, this is what's happening. You have people that survive the swing and people that don't survive it, right? But the people that are surviving it, they may survive one swing, but can you survive 1, 2, 3, 4 swings? And then if you start striking out, are you going to be that person to say, okay, let me get a hold of my business and take it to the next level and try to create a brand, or try to be able to, create a brand to where people want to come to me directly and things of that nature? Because every time they always say like December, I think it slowed down and everyone's yelling out, it's slow season. But the TSA website said travel was higher than the previous year. So, are we letting them control the swing? And then we're just saying it's a swing. So that's just what I always wonder, like even with the Airbnb bus thing, some people didn't feel it. Some people felt it. And then I started I made a reel about this the other day. I started really looking. I'm like, the people that saying they didn't feel the Airbnb bust, most of them were in vacation rental markets. The ones who are in vacation rentals who did feel it, I didn't see their listing or whatever, but it seemed like they may have been offering a lower tier product. And the ones who were, and I think most people in urban metro markets, they usually kind of felt it. And then there are a few just didn't because of the type of product they're offering. So I think we also have to start looking at that, like product offerings. I think me, you, and Fetty talked about it. How do we baseline our businesses to get the clientele we want and to be able to provide the experience we want for that guest? So yeah, it's very, very interesting that, you know, with the swings are true. They're definitely true.
Yeah, it's true, man. And one thing, here's the thing too, because a lot of people are like, yeah, like you said, panic mode, saying, oh, you know, it's a down season. Okay, what the fuck are you doing about it? I just went to your listing. You got everything still priced at $200 a night in the down season, and you're crying because you have 0 bookings that month. Yeah. I'm in there, you know, and I partnered with Federico on this because, you know, he's doing the ops. And I was like, dude, let me grab a hold of this pricing real quick. And I'm going to go very aggressive at this, you know, and you handle this, I handle that, you know, we, you know, handle different things. And I said, let me just dive into, let me take the reins on the pricing for a little bit just to get us through this slow season. That's what they call it. And I got everything on smart pricing from Price Labs, you know, for just when we needed it to. We needed to hit every single thing on Airbnb to boost us. You know, even if it didn't work, or even if it's, you know, it didn't boost you that much, I don't care. We were going to try every single thing. We're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at it to see if it helped. You know, we did instant book on everything. You know, we did like I said, smart pricing. We did. What else did Airbnb want us to do? You know, they always tell you they want you to do these certain things. I can't even think of them right
smart pricing, no cleaning fee, all that.
No cleaning fee. We tried that, you know. We tried the no cleaning fee. We tried, you know, whatever. We tried everything. And of course lowering the prices. And so I was just manually going in every single day. You know, at the time we had over 70 units, and I was just going in every single one. You know, okay, this week is coming up for the next 3 or 4 days. I'm just going to drop these prices here, and I'm gonna, you know, get rid of the 2 night minimums. I'm gonna do whatever I can to get this 1 week booked. Right? You're doing micro to win in the macro. You know what I'm saying? So I was just going week by week. That's it. I'm not even looking out months ahead. You know, I'm pricing everything is kind of high ahead, and then lower. I'm doing what probably like Price Labs does automatically. But anyways, I was just getting these small victories. They're adding up. And next thing you know, we had everything green. You know what I'm saying? And so I got us through there. But then as the swing back up and all of the demand is skyrocketing right now, Feta said, let's go back to Price Labs and get, you know, make sure to get every single buck at the highest, you know, every single booking at the highest rate we can. And I said, all right, cool. Hand it back off. We're back on Price Labs and we're getting bookings at a higher rate now. You know, you can sit there on the sidelines, complain and say, you know, it's down season. Why can't I get no bookings? Or are you going to go in there and fix this shit?
Yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact. But I'm going to say something. Did you use your business, but in your swing, when the swing was going on, I noticed you said you were going in, changing everything, turning on smart pricing. So in your swing, when it swung, would you say you catered your business more to Airbnb or more to yourself and your business?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning you said everything you did on Airbnb. Did you pick up phone calls, start calling out to like insurance companies, reloads, or those people?
I've been doing that.
Okay.
You know, I was trying to score. You know, you got your VA on Furnish Finder hitting everybody up, right? I got my VAs on Furnish Finder hitting everybody up.
I'm not talking about Furnish Finder. I'm not talking about the OTAs. I'm talking about your brand, your business.
Oh, like talking to insurance companies and stuff like that.
Low reloads, insurance companies. Like, yeah, because that's what I was saying. Sometimes with the swing, we focus too much on the OTA, and the OTA is the one that's causing the swing.
Yeah.
So, because the next swing that comes around, I want to be fully prepared. Like, I want to be like how Al Williamson is. When stuff happens on Airbnb, he's just like, doesn't affect me. Like, damn. Like, I'm in his mastermind group. He's like, yeah, it don't really affect me. We can get it back on. But like, he's just like, yeah, I don't, that Airbnb stuff doesn't affect me. But I just, because I think that's where we have to go with our business to have that. But it's interesting because I did a lot of that too. I was in there changing up prices. One thing I did, but when you're doing that stuff, you learn a lot. Because one thing I learned was Airbnb is now, by the way, they're going to start. They are, I was in Mark's Facebook group. Airbnb is now pushing to where they can, where hosts can pay to have their listing boosted. They've been practicing that with the promotions, but the promotions work perfectly. If you guys want to just raise your price 20% and just promote those days 20% on Airbnb, that's like a guaranteed way to get a reservation if you do it for multiple days and know what you're doing. But yeah, it's a lot you can learn with doing, like, running those Airbnb discounts and things of that nature.
You said a key word there, key phrase. If you know what you're doing, because you could mess up and put some stupid low prices on accident if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Going there, okay, I'm gonna have it, this week's going to be 20% off, but then you already have another, 50% off, or you have some other stuff going on. Ooh, you could put some people in your place for like $20 a night.
That's why you got to and man, I was on Sean's webinar, and I'm not going to say what all I learned on there, but he said something very, very important. He said, if you're just sitting on Airbnb and you don't understand rule sets, lead time, pace, any of that, he goes, if I'm saying this stuff and you don't understand it, you're going to go out of business. I was like, damn. There was a lot of people that are like, oh, shit, what is that? Like, I'm like, yeah, you are going to go to, if you don't know your lead time, because if you don't know your average lead time, especially on Airbnb, if you don't know your average lead time, you don't know how to adjust your pricing accordingly. You're either leaving money on the table, or most of the time you're just probably leaving money on the table, or you're probably losing money. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that goes into pricing that you have to understand and know how to adjust it, like in a certain market. And that's one good thing if you are doing this, but Airbnb lets you do it. If you're taking all of your units, like all your units in Dallas, all your units in Houston, and you're putting them in separate Airbnb accounts, that's a really good thing to do, because now Airbnb will give you the stats of, hey, this is your average lead time in Houston. This is your average lead time in Dallas. Now you can start making your rule sets based upon that. And I've been doing that, and it's been working like a charm. So yeah, you got to know how many days out till someone's going to book me. Like in Dallas, I know it's 4 days, so I can adjust my pricing and put my rule sets in there accordingly.
Nice.
Yeah,
you got to get all that knowledge together, man. Yeah. So I mean, if you're not working at it, it could get out of hand if you don't know what you're doing, and so yeah, do some learning, man. We use, like I said, we check out everything that Sean has to offer. Fed is real big about Sean's stuff too. It's really, really interesting stuff.
Funny thing is, you said something about a hood unit earlier, and I'm kind of at the crossroads. So I'm going back to my 9-to-5 on Monday. So remember, I just finished I'm finishing up. We're putting the last touches on this damn rehab, but I'm thinking like I could refinance it, pull some money out, furnish that bad boy up. And then on the other hand, I'm like, and then I was thinking about doing the Section 8 thing, because I think I said on the last cast, I was just going to go ahead and Section 8 it. But then I'm like, do I really want to deal with that? Because I ain't going to have no property manager. I'm going to have to be over everything and setting up a team. So I'm really thinking about just flipping this thing, man. But the only good thing about being on 9-to-5, I can use that 9-to-5 to get a good W-2 rate. You know what I'm saying? A good interest rate. But so it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It's one of those things, because when I say this in the hood, it's like bars on the Windows hood, bars around the AC unit type. So I was like, I don't know what I want to do. So I may end up flipping it. I'm going to see. I'm going
to throw something at you. Now we're talking real estate. We move around on the show. We're going to talk some real estate right now. We're going to dive into some numbers. That's where the real wealth is built, right?
Yeah.
Real estate, not arbitrage and Airbnb. Maybe people claim whatever. But anyways, you always want to buy real estate. Whatever you do, whatever business you get into, always buy real estate, because that's where you're going to make wealth. That's where you're going to become wealthy. So I'm going to find this text stream so I can give you more information. But here's the gist of it. Let me see. Let me find it real quick. But I'll find it in a second.
Go ahead. But yeah. What I was saying was, I don't know. Like, my question to you was actually going to be, on your hood units, how are the reviews?
How are the reviews?
How are the reviews, and how have you shifted the reviews to be in a positive, to favor you to be in a positive light?
you know, and I give credit to Federico for this, because we have been getting good reviews at those places, and because we've shifted our demographic, we stopped, you know, encouraging older white people to book these places. We're getting more urban clientele, and they're cool with it. They love these places, man. And so you know, it's not like we have wild parties or nothing going on, but it's just, oh, another thing.
Well, no, I gotta ask you the question, because I know the listeners are asking, how did you flip your demographic to get urban people in there?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, we got all these properties off of our main Airbnb page, right? Mm-hmm. And we put it on this on our new Airbnb page. Okay. And we changed the descriptions. We changed the descriptions to, I can't, unless I pull them up, I can read it. But just to make it more urban friendly, you know what I'm saying?
He Grant Cardone this listing now for you.
Yeah.
No, but go ahead. We're about to get from now playing.
and we that's funny. So we changed the picture is just a picture of Federico now. It's not a picture of him and his wife doing like a family type photo. It's just a picture of Federico, a dude on there. And we just, it's just pretty much it. Change the descriptions and just we've been attracting the clientele that likes those places.
I like how you did that. Our clientele's changed too. I only have a picture of mahogany up now, and we're getting a lot easier clientele in certain areas. Like our places in a certain part of Dallas is getting much better clientele. I think they see mahogany. We used to have the other girl up, right? And you get a different demographic, with that demographic and the demographic we wanted for this unit. So these 5 units that we have up there, we're getting the demographic we need, because mahogany, and I'm not on it. It's just mahogany with her dreads, and boom, and we're getting a good, the good demographic that we want.
Brothers and sisters.
There you go. Oh yeah, basically. This area, that's what we want. So I mean, and if anybody who's been listening to us for a long time, your profile picture paints a huge picture of who's going to book your place. Now, if you're in a certain type of neighborhood, it is a good idea to use a certain picture. I mean, I've done it. We've used a family photo. We use my single photo, mahogany single photo. We used a friend's photo, and we've used the logo. But yeah, friendly face is always the best. We use ours is very dependent upon the area that we're in, that the neighborhood is in. Because we say it amongst each other. Me and Steve say all the time. I mean, if you have a place in a certain demographic, it's certain demographics that feel comfortable there, and certain demographics that don't. So if you change the wording inside of your listing and you change who is the face of the listing, you can get a more targeted demographic to book the unit. I know. I'm going to be real. Other podcasters ain't going to tell you this shit. I mean, we don't give a damn. We've done it. Real. I know. We keep it real. They're going to tell you, if you put a black face up in a neighborhood that's predominantly black, you'll probably get good 5-star reviews because it's more familiar to them. If you put Steve did it in Hearst, you know what I'm saying, with the Mexican thing you said you did. You're like, mostly all Mexicans booking it. It was a fine experience because it's easier to cater to what you're familiar with. It's simply what it is.
It is, man. And so real quick on that, because you used to be pro logo as your profile, but now you're not so much logo anymore.
No, it seems like everybody books when it's a logo. And also they complain more because they feel like you're a big corporation.
So you saying everybody out there is racist? Is that what you're saying, Mike?
Not racist. I said they complain more if they feel like you're a big corporation.
Okay. You said, but first you said everybody books because it's a logo. Whatever.
Yeah. Everybody books, but now you get more complaints. It's like one of them situations where if you feel like somebody has some money, I'm going to try to squeeze as much as I can out of them. That's how people are. So when you have a logo up there, people feel like they can complain and get what they want. So a friendly picture always works. But go ahead.
for example, like it just I mean, we didn't go crazy and say, hey, bring your guns and bring your pit bulls. We didn't say that shit, right? But we said we did. See, that's being a little bit anyways, we keep it real on this show. So like for the studio we had, this studio is perfect for the solo traveler or couples looking for a convenient and affordable stay in Dallas.
There you go.
These are all code words, man. This is the hood. I'm just
for real.
No, it's not. Okay, a little bit.
It is. That's how you have to word it that way. Man, I'm telling you, man, read this book called might be Pumpkin Plant. No, it's one of Mike Malkovich's book. He talks about that, like target down on who you want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to. I love that. Keep going.
The hobos are nice there. So going back real quick, here's what we're discovering too, man. And you've seen it. A lot of people out there have bad credit. A lot of people can't get freaking apartments.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. I know where you're going.
We're getting midterm stays from people who would regularly not be able to get anything because they got stuff on their background or they got bad credit.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going with that. So credit is pushing people to they need a place to stay for a few months. They're going to book an Airbnb.
You know what? I think this came about because of the picture I posted inside of, so in the Facebook group. Okay. And as a matter of fact, this is in Dallas. So I think this is how we struck up this conversation. So someone in a Dallas Airbnb Facebook group came in and said, hey, I have an eviction on my record. Where can I find a place like housing? And this guy gets on there and he said, just book an Airbnb. You just you prepay for the time. And I'm like, and I posted it to Steve and Federico and Mike. And I said, yeah, these are the people that book your Airbnbs, because they prepay for time. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Have you ever had a guest, and it's like a day before their checkout, they'll say, hey, can I extend, but can I pay tomorrow right before checkout so I'll have enough money on my card to pay you?
Oh, yeah. We've had that.
Yeah. I've had it too. But those are a lot of renters do that. That is why, and that's why I also said in there, that's why your product is very important. So if you're in for the units you just talked about, that's a perfect scenario. Hey, they're in this type of neighborhood. These are the type of people that are come there. But if you have a good product, they aren't going to want that product. So you have to know what your product is and what your product attracts, because it might attract certain people that, hey, they might have an eviction on their record. They might not be bad people, but, well, I don't know. An eviction, yeah, that's a little, now evictions, that's a hard one to get on there. But you know what I'm saying? People lose jobs, all types of stuff. But these are some of the people that use the platform, especially Airbnb.
Some just crossed my mind. Speaking to, if there's any renters out there, Airbnb renters, that can't get a place because of their credit or background or whatever, here's a great play. And I think it might even be cool, or it might even be beneficial on our side that have, Airbnbs in not the best neighborhoods or whatever, to cater to this group. So hear me out. Try to put it together in a business.
I know where you're going. Go ahead, though. I know where you're going.
Because especially when you told me about, okay, they're already staying in your Airbnb. They book an Airbnb, and they're going to extend one day outside of, okay, whatever. But they got to get money on their card kind of thing. Yeah. We've been through that. Now, what I automatically thought of, I was like, okay, if these renters out there, this is the area they want to be in. They want to be in a certain area. You got some Airbnbs there. They're fully furnished, all bills paid. They can't find anything that'll let them rent, but they'll check it out. They'll rent your place. Let's just say this: if you're a renter out there, go rent an Airbnb for a few weeks or a month. Prove to this host that you're a great freaking renter, right? And then say, or when that month is coming up or whatever, say, hey, I'd like to stay here for another 3 or 4 months. Can we do outside of Airbnb and, save me money, save you money? And then I guarantee you, most Airbnbers will say, yeah, that sounds great. I mean, you've been doing great. You've been, a great renter here. You keep my place clean, taking out the trash, all that stuff. Yeah, sure. We can deal something outside of Airbnb, and then I'll make more money and you'll save money. There you go. They just landed themselves a long-term rental without having a background check, without having a credit check or nothing, in a nice place, fully furnished, all bills paid, where they want to stay. I think it's a win-win. I mean, I know it's
no.
be a little tricky for us, but if yeah.
The reason why I like your thinking, because I always think you think B2C, which works perfect for the cast, and I think B2B, which works perfect for the cast. You know what I was gonna say? It's very similar to what you're doing. Okay. I would say go find someone whose job is to help people find affordable housing, right? And you partner with them and be like, hey, I have all these Airbnbs, and hey, here's my portfolio of Airbnbs. Hey, I know this person may not have good credit, but can they pay with cash up front or on a card up front? And be like, hey, here's my places. Let them know, hey, if they stay a few months, then you bring in what you just said. Hey, if they stay a few months, they're good. They may be able to pay on a weekly basis this much, and then we can do something outside of the platform. It's either way.
Second chance B&B, baby.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it's a risk. It's a risk. It's definitely a risk. But I mean, it's just having that business acumen, to think like that. Because go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, because I was thinking about the guy who came on who does the housing for homeless. He does exactly what we do. He arbitrages it, but he puts, for the homeless in there. But yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
And that's funny because a long time ago, whenever in the early days, we started turning this thing into a business kind of thing, trying to put our Airbnbs or short-term rentals everywhere we could possibly put them, and then even started putting them in these Dallas housing Facebook group or Fort Worth housing. And I think Mike Brown back then warned me, hey, dude, careful over there. They're pretty vicious. I was like, what are you talking about? So I put my, started making some Facebook marketplace listings of some of my units and throwing them on there. Hey, this rent this fully furnished, all bills paid place for $2,500 a month or whatever it was for a 1-bedroom, or $3,500 a month for whatever I was doing, the pricing back then, don't matter. And I'd put them on these sites. I didn't realize a lot of these people on there was second chance housing people. And so they were just, this is a freaking fraud. This guy's trying to steal money and blah. How could he charge these? I didn't know the hornet's nest that I kicked, right? I was like, oh shit. And Mike said, yeah, that's more for second chance housing kind of. What's that? And I didn't know what second chance housing was. I kept seeing that term on those groups pop up, second chance housing, which means that they have some bumps and evictions and stuff in their past, that they can't get housing. So there's operators out there that cater to them that call themselves second chance housing. And I don't know how they set up their structure, how they make sure they don't get screwed and get, they must have a lawyer on call for the eviction, got a discount rate for evictions or some shit. I don't know what it is, and they probably charge a first and last and middle and all kinds of shit, just to make sure they don't get burned by people that are high risk, what I'm saying? But I bet a lot of people can make a lot of good money on places that are, let's just say they own an apartment complex that they got for dirt cheap, and they probably didn't fix it up too good, but they're putting second chance people in there and making money hand over fist.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time, but yeah, it's about just like we're doing, like right here, we're masterminding. You can do that. When slow season hits, if you verify they can pay. But I would like looking into that idea of partnering with a company, like I don't know, because you have to look at it like this: a second chance housing corporation networks with a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean? So they got connections out there. That's how, what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it as well.
I remember one lady in one of the Facebook groups put on there, I'm having such a hard time finding something for me and my kids. And I guess somebody on there, I guess a housing, whatever, or someone else in the group said, well, what's going on? How come you can't find anything? I mean, you got a voucher. And she's like, yeah, well, it's me and my 10 kids. I was like, holy smokes. I guess a lot of people don't want to allow someone with 10. And she looked young, bro. I was like, how the hell does she have 10?
Damn.
I mean, that's a reality.
Wow.
I can figure out how.
Oh man.
Even though she got her vouchers or whatever, people are, not in my house. It's not gonna stay in my house. I'm gonna destroy that house, man. It's just gonna be gutted.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that happens, and it is unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know. You just have to find if that's your niche. Because remember, even when we talked to Derek Forston on that, he was like, it has to be your passion, But I mean, if slow season hits, it might become your passion.
That is true. So what else are we gonna talk about? We have some great topics for y'all. So we talked about the feast and famine. Sometimes Airbnb feast and famine. Oh, another funny thing that's happening. I don't know. You list your places on Zillow?
No, I need to start. I need to get back on there. Okay.
You'll get hit up a lot by I've scored some nice corporate stays from Zillow, right? Mm-hmm. That's for the corporate people look at Zillow. And so I've scored some nice corporate stays, but also I get hit up a lot from these youngsters that want to manage my rental. You know what I'm saying? And they and they spit out the same spiel that we've taught so many people before. Hey, I do corporate housing, blah blah blah, and I cater to travel nurses, traveling professionals. We also do shorter stays in between to fill in the gaps. I mean, it's the same kind of thing that we put out there a long time ago. And so it's coming full circle. So these youngsters are hitting me up for these properties. And I'm like, hey, dude, he said, I think your property will make a lot of money and blah, 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 blah. I charge, a lot of them are charging like 15% now. So they're going down on their rates, just to get some properties. But I kind of like to toy with them a little bit. I said, oh, wow, that sounds interesting, man. Is that like Airbnb or what is that? I was like, well, we only use Airbnb to fill in the gaps, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I don't mind, dude. I say, you know what? Tell you what, why don't you just rent it from me for this price that I got it here? And you can do the short-term rentals all you want. And they're like, yeah, we're not taking on any arbitrages at this time and this and that. It's just, I said, well, why not? If it's guaranteed you're going to make this much money, why don't you just rent it from me for this much, which I got it on Zillow, and just rent it out yourself and make this all the money instead of just making 15% of what I make. And they're like, yeah, that's not in our business model, right? So these youngsters are getting spoiled because they no longer want to arbitrage because they don't want any of the risks. They want to start off grabbing properties with zero risk, which is great if you can manage that. And have me still take all the risks. Little do they know, they don't know it's in my arbitrage, right? They think it's my house, right? Mm-hmm. So they're trying to pick up my houses from me to manage, even though I'm, we're arbitraging and managing them, right? Yeah. And so and I think it's funny though. It's just coming full circle from what we taught. It's coming back at us, and people are trying to pick up these. We did all the work. We furnished these damn things. We got them out everywhere. And then I finally tell him, oh, I'm just messing with you, dude. Let's network. Let me get your information. We manage over 70 units. We've been doing this for 7 years now. We're on all the sites, but this is just one of them. Oh, and usually they just go away. They don't. they trying to hear
that. And what you're saying is it kind of comes back full circle in our conversation earlier. People are looking at management because there ain't no risk, right? So then when you have the ups and downs, like that up and down of the market, it ain't on you. Like, hey, it's up and down, bro. It's down season. Give me my 20%, but here's your crumbs that you're left with and can't pay your mortgage. I mean, for real, that's basically what they're doing, right? So, I mean, most management companies will give you a break, but yeah, I mean, that's just what they're doing.
Now, one of them was interesting, I had to say the least, because this dude from, I think it was like Zimbabwe or something, right? He hit me up and asked me, because he had a unique first and last name, so one that I could look up on Facebook and try to find the dude. And yeah, he was out of Zimbabwe or somewhere in Africa. And he's like, yeah, I would like to. And he said, I would like to arbitrage your house for this price. I'll pay you this price and I'm going to put it on these short-term rental platforms and this and that. And I was like, oh, so you do want to rent it from me? You're not going to just try to manage it from, oh, yeah, I want to rent it and I'm going to put it on these platforms. So I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. So you can afford this rent. You could pay this rent. Yeah. It's like, all right, well, put in the application. And I thought that was going to be done with them. Yeah. Oh, application now. Fuck that. So I said, put in a Zillow application and I'll check it out. And he actually did. He put in a Zillow application. And so I opened it up, looked at it. He had like 680 credit score, right? He had a good credit score, but
Mm-hmm.
he had like no history. There was nothing on there. And he only had credit history for like, a few months. It was weird, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he must have just hopped on someone's credit cards and got a credit history or whatever, like we teach people to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get those trade lines. And but he had no assets, no nothing, but he had that credit score. And so I said, I came up with some excuse. I'm probably I already do this as a short term rental, whatever. But I was like, he don't even live here. Somehow he got a credit score, and he's trying to pick up people's trying to rent from people to do this short term from Africa. So I'm tripping out on this, man. I'm like, man, there's people from other countries doing arbitrages here in the United States and renting from these people off Zillow and doing it. I was like, that's pretty. I mean, shit. I guess you could do it from anywhere.
Does he have other units?
I wasn't able to find anything on his I looked through his Facebook, all that stuff. I didn't see any other units. I guess I should have pried more, but I just saw so many red flags. I was like, no, this doesn't seem, if he had anything, he didn't have anything, credit cards or cars, or he didn't have nothing on his credit, but it was a good score. So maybe an experienced landlord would be like, oh yeah, you can rent my place. That's fine. You have a good credit score, but I don't know.
Yeah, probably take a few Airbnb payment payouts and never hear from dude again.
That's what I was thinking, man.
Yeah, especially if he's hitting up furnished places. You know what I mean? Take the photos from Zillow, put it on an Airbnb account. You're good to go. But yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of little. I mean, there's so many ways to make money in this industry. The three main: arbitrage, managing, owning. But they all, at the end of the day, I think at this point, to be successful in the short-term rental space, you have to be educated on what the hell's going on. You got to be educated on the OTAs, educated on branding, educated on, your end goal too. A lot of people don't have end goals with this. They're just doing stuff to do it, and then like these people, like even with the arbitrage space, I think a lot of people are building up these companies and I think they don't really know the true risk of it. And so, I don't know. A lot of people going out of business, like you said, and a lot of people are shooting you some straight BS about, arbitrage, even about management, some things that just aren't really necessarily in alignment with the truth. But, facts.
So my REI question, my real estate investment question.
Okay.
So a while back, and I told the story on the podcast that I overheard some mechanics talking at work about his townhome over here in Fort Worth that during COVID the dude stayed there for 6 months, didn't pay nothing. On the way out he destroyed the place, whatever. He screwed him over. He just wanted to get rid of it. I picked up the 3-bedroom 2-bath townhome over there for $90,000. And so yeah, you can't beat that. So he just wanted out, and so we were able to buy it. And so his son actually owns one in the same complex. It's a 2-bedroom 2-bath, right? And prices have gone up a little since then, but now I'll say this: it's not the best area. The Channel 11 Tower is over there, Fort Worth, over that area. It's not the best area.
Stop 6.
Yeah, right by the Potter's house.
Potter's house is in Dallas.
This is another one right there. I think it's
really.
It might be a satellite one. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, right there by the Channel 11 Tower. It's not the best area, but so his son's like, and I looked at it before because his son was talking about selling it and everything, and I just like, it needed work, right? It was in a rough part of town, same complex, and this African American lady was been there for years, right? Mm-hmm. And she's on Section 8. So I would even inherit a Section 8 payer, you know what I'm saying? And he even told me, he said, yeah, he haven't heard from you in a while. I just thought to see if you're still interested. Now Section 8 went up to $11.50 a month, right? And so he's saying if I still interested in buying it, he would even do owner financing. And I know you like that stuff, right? Owner financing. Mm-hmm. And he said, we could do. He just threw some numbers out there asking for my counter. I don't even know how to counter because I haven't done a owner financing deal yet. But he said probably do 4% interest, 30-year fix with the balloon payment, refinance in 5 years. 20% down would get you a payment of $472 a month. 10% down will get you a payment of $531 a month. Of course, I'd go for the lower, down payment. That's how I am. HOAs are $370 for this unit. So
$370 a month?
$370 a month for the HOA. Yeah. So we're looking at, it's a chunk. So if he did the 10% down, we're looking at I'd be paying about $1,000 a month. And then with the Section 8, making $1,100, which it's not the best.
What's your cash flow?
Like I said, $100 a month would be the cash flow. It wouldn't be that good. That's if I just if I'm doing the, that's the offer he threw at me. Of course, I can mess with the numbers, go down a little bit, and say I'll only pay this much for it. It's only worth $90,000 to me, so that'll bring the numbers down. He's looking for a counter. I don't even know how to counter. I'd love to do owner finance if he holds it forever, and I don't have to finance out to a bank.
How old is he?
This guy, he's about my age, in his 40s.
Probably gonna hold forever. It sounds like a good deal. Only thing is, how much is he asking for? How much? 90K?
He said around 110 range.
Is it worth that? What's the comp say?
Well, see, it's still I think the taxes is still around 39,000. It's like, he's had it so long that it's like
no, I mean like to
in that same place.
Yeah. To counter him, you need to know. Well, in owner finance, you don't need to know this. I'm more of a BRRRR guy, but I will still run numbers. So if he wants 110, what's it worth right now, all fixed up?
That's a good question, dude. I need to do more research to have a better.
Yeah, so I would find out what's it worth right now. All if you were to fix this place up, deck it out, how much could you sell it for? Right.
Right.
What was a record doing outside? Okay, but yeah, I would find out how much you could sell it for. Like if you were to fix it all up, the current condition, it probably ain't in great shape if they've been in there for how long, forever, and doing Section 8. Yeah. Sound like it might be a good deal, but you got to run the numbers to the T. You got to know taxes, insurance, your payment to him, and it's a HOA. That's what I'm saying. You have to know what your full all-in costs are, because it don't seem like it's going to be just that $1,000. Is that including taxes?
Yeah, that's including taxes.
So your payment. Go ahead.
As financing through him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So your payment to him, that's including the taxes every month?
I assume so. That's a good question. I'll ask him about the taxes.
Yeah, I'd ask him about taxes, insurance, EITI, basically principal, interest, taxes, all of that, and then see what the number comes out to. I'm going to tell you some funny thing you bring up owner finance. I had a dude, this dude owns like 40 doors. Me and Mahogany sat down with this dude for like 2 hours in Starbucks the other day. And basically he's trying to downsize his entire portfolio to 10 doors. But he wants to downsize it only off owner finance deals. So it's like, cool. So we pitched an owner finance deal at him, but he wants like 9 or 10% interest. So I hate to call this guy. He's a slumlord land shark, basically is what he is. So, we'll be real, man. We got to be real. This is our podcast. We'll be real. And so people out there, if y'all looking at owner finance deals, basically this dude's a slumlord loan shark, basically. So he's the same situation. He has a tenant that's been there a while, but the tenant is late on rent all the time. So he's like, well, I want to get off this one. So I think he saw me in Mahogany, Dreadheads. They're like, they'll probably take this place. So he throws out these bullshit numbers. Like, I can't do math. I'm like, you want 10% interest? You have a tenant in there who chooses to pay you when they want to. And then the place ain't even fixed up. We went in this place. It's a fucking dump. Me, Mahogany, she went in there. She acted like she was the insurance people. She was like, hey, I'm just here for the insurance on the insurance renewal just to take a couple of pics. So we went in there, took pictures.
That's a clever move.
Oh, yeah. We always do that one. So she went in, she took pictures of the house. It was a complete dump in there. So we sat down with him at Starbucks and he just wasn't budging on his numbers. So we were just like, hey, this deal ain't going to work for us. The thing I like about your guy, he's giving you a 4% interest rate. That's a good ass deal. But you got to run all the numbers. Because on owner finance deals, you need to make sure you cash flow. I know some people who will take the hit on cash flow, refinance out at the end due to like maybe an equity play or an appreciation play. But I would make sure that things cash flows.
Okay. And I was going to ask, on these owner finance deals, Is it like I'm the owner now for these next 5 years? Is it like do I get the deed or what happens?
It depends. On sub 2, you get the deal. You get the deed. Owner finance, you're putting a down payment. See, I have to really look at. You're gonna put the down payment down for the owner finance. You put the down payment down. He basically becomes the bank. You're paying him every month, and then it's all in the contract. You're paying him every month. He's the bank. But at the end of your 5 years, you now have to balloon payment all his money back. That way, you would have, in order to do that, you would have to refinance. So you would have to go on the deed and the mortgage at the time of the refinance. But I'm not sure if you go on the deed initially. I think the deed stays in his name. You'd have to look it up, get with someone. But like on sub 2, the mortgage stays in his name. The deed goes to you. But the guy who I was talking to, the property's paid off. All his properties are paid off.
Yeah, so it would have to be an owner finance deal. That's what he said too. I mentioned subject to. He's like, "Well, I own it outright, so it would have to be an owner finance."
Yeah,
it would have to be now, and it's funny because Adam Johnson, show, he likes sub 2. That's his favorite. He doesn't mess with owner financing. I don't believe.
Yeah,
he wants that deed. He wants to leave him on the mortgage.
Yeah. And another thing about owner finance, when they own it outright, like this guy's situation, every situation is different, right? So this dude who wants to owner finance, the reason why he's taking 10%, like I said, he's a loan shark because he owns the property outright. He ain't really in a rush to sell it, right? So if his tenants ain't paying rent, that just means he has to come up with the taxes and insurance money. He ain't got to pay no mortgage. Shit, it's paid off. So with your guy, it sounds like he's more rational and reasonable. And he asked you to counter that. I think you should come up with a good counter. You should, me and you can hop on a call and we can go over the numbers. We can come up with a counter for him. But
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, because I know that we have like past guests on the show that set up owner finance deals, right?
Yeah.
With a big payment, with a big down payment, 10-20%, whatever, knowing full out that most of these people they're not gonna be able to finance out of these deals and they're gonna lose that money, right? So that's a bit I don't know. Hey, you could have that in your conscience, that's cool. But I mean, they make money doing that. Owner finance, they get these people in there, 5-6% interest, seems very, very tempting.
I think you may be discussing lease option.
Lease option, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Same kind of deal, though, because this is the same kind of deal. I mean, whatever you call it. Some states you have to call it lease option. Some states you call it owner finance.
Well, remember, lease option, you're just renting the property with the option to purchase. Owner finance, I think you're locking yourself in.
Yeah, and if you don't come up with that big giant balloon payment,
you take the property back.
You take the property back. And they know full out that these people aren't going to come up with that big payment. So they're going to keep that down payment initially, and they're going to just move on to the next person. And okay, next person.
See, that's usually, that happens more in lease option because basically they're taking advantage of a renter's mindset. Honestly, like someone who's owner financing, they usually know, because even for him to approach you with an owner finance deal, he knows you're in an ownership state of mind. You know what I mean? Most people who are feel like, hey, I'm in an ownership state of mind, they'll be able to get the down. I mean, it ain't even the down payment. It's about they'll be able to refinance it because they're probably working on their credit, things of that nature. But yeah, that does happen more with on the lease option side, someone who came on the show makes bank off doing that. He tells someone, hey, I'll give you the option to purchase. You give me $20K cash now. They give him the $20K. That person ain't worked on their credit or nothing else. And yeah, he walks off with $20,000. And then he's like, well, I need to put a new renter in and do the same thing over again. So yeah, that does happen. But with owner finance, it can happen for sure. But yeah, it isn't as common. But another thing about owner finance as well is, I don't know, you can run into some loan sharks doing some owner finance depending on their situation. Because most of the time they aren't really motivated to sell. They don't really have a motivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can cover.
Like I've heard dudes on like BiggerPockets and stuff that are huge on owner finance. They love, you know, sending out their inventory on owner finance.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and some of them will say, okay, owner finance, technically it's their house now. So if something breaks, they got to fix it, right?
Yep.
Or it's this or that, whatever, plumbing, you know. So and he goes, and this one guy, I guess he was an honest owner finance guy. He said, you know, a lot of guys out there will say, hey, tough luck. You fix it. You fix it. You fix it. He goes, but he's not really like that. He still sees an incentive of taking care of the property, you know, for people that are in there on owner finance deal, because not just because he's being a good guy or a nice thing to do, but he said, if they can't afford to fix these things, it's going to cause a big problem when they hand the house back off to you. Whenever they said, okay, I can't pay this balloon payment and you know, and take over the house and finance out because their credit's shit and they don't have any money, right? So they're not going to be able to do either. And so they're going to hand them back a house where they didn't pay, they weren't able to pay anything to fix anything.
Yeah.
So they're going to have all this messed up stuff in there.
Yeah. See, and that guy who's doing it that way, he actually saves money in the long run, because if he's fixing the stuff while they're there, he's still got a $20,000 X amount down payment, whatever, that 20%. He can either use that to go get another property, or he can use it towards the repairs that they're going to be incurring. But that's a lot of times why a lot of people put that on the tenant. Also, when you are an owner finance deal and you give them that responsibility, they're more liable to be a more responsible person to actually purchase the property, because they feel like, oh, they have a sense of ownership. And a lot of like the good owner finance guys, those are the people they're looking for. People who may have like a few bumps in the road. Hey, let me work with this guy. He wants to have ownership. He's going to be cutting the grass, taking care of maintenance. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, owner finance, sub 2, all those are really good plays right now. I love all of them. I'm a BRRRR guy, but I will definitely pitch some owner finance deals. Most of my owner finance deals, I'm selling them to my friend up in Seattle. Like I'll wholesale them off to him and he'll take over it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you owner finance Airbnbs?
Say it again.
Owner finance Airbnbs.
Oh yeah, our friend who was on the show, that's all he does. Stedman down in Houston, that's all he does is owner finance Airbnbs. Yeah, so he owner finances, lets them know, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and he takes it off the run. It's actually a really, really good play, but you got to run your numbers. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it works long term. If it works on a long term basis, good to go.
Okay, one more topic before we hop off. We've been on for a little while. The art of picking up your clients' arbitrages. Do you ever do that? You ever picked up arbitrages from your clients before? I mean, you're not really a big into management. You have a couple that you do manage, right?
I have one that I manage. It's a bigger property.
Okay.
Go ahead, go into that, because I see pros and cons in that. Go ahead now. What are you experiencing going through that process?
So as a management company, it does come up that guests, that clients do want to hop out of the game sometimes, and ask. Of course, they're gonna ask us first. Are y'all interested in taking over this arbitrage, right? And either taking over to the end of the lease and then starting a new lease, or actually, transferring the lease to you and then whatever. Now, here's the thing. They want to get something back for this furniture, right? And that's which they're not gonna get very much for anyways, right? Used furniture, try to throw it on Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people ain't gonna show up. They're gonna give you bottom dollar for it, whatever. So, I don't think it's predatory in a way to like say, okay, check this out. I know you want to get $3,000 for this furniture or $5,000, even though you spent $10,000 to set it up and all, whatever the deal is, whatever the numbers are. But in reality, you don't like the returns that are happening right now. Yes, maybe when we take it over, we could afford to price it in a way that we'll still profit because of the management fee and all that stuff. But as far as buying used furniture, we're taking a risk here, taking over this thing,
At the very beginning of the show, I said I was doing some short-term rental stuff, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing I was doing is units that I've had 2 or 3 years, I was swapping out furniture. I was swapping out queen beds for king beds, old queen beds that were rattling for king beds. You know, furniture. If you have a truly set up arbitrage business, the furniture depreciates, right? And that's why you can write it off because it depreciates. You're basically asking how much should you give them for the furniture?
Well, I was asking, what will you do in that situation?
Man, I would probably get new beds. First off, where did they get the furniture from? Is it Wayfair shit? Excuse me, language.
I think most of these places are Wayfair.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to replace it. I mean, I'd just get new furniture.
So how do you go about without hurting someone's feelings? You just say
you can't care about their feelings. It's just business, man. Like,
business.
Hey, man, we got to get new. Yeah, like, hey, just because of the nature of our business, if we're taking over, this is now our account and how we go about. We would need new furniture. Yeah. Oh man, it's this great book called "Surrounded by Idiots." You got to read it. It's my next book. No, it's a really good book. It's so because you have to know what color you are. It goes back to that DISC assessment. Once you know what color you are, then you know how to start breaking news to people because you got to know what type of person you're dealing with. You know. But yeah, me personally, I would. Yeah, get new furniture, man. I'm doing a furniture revamp right now. Like any units that I don't have king beds in, I'm putting king beds in them. If things are wobbly, get new stuff in there. And you learn this especially like, do you have any that you own and you've been doing it for a while on places that you own?
Yeah, but doing what for a while?
Like have a place up that you've owned. Like one of my places, I've owned it 5 years. It's been a short-term rental for 5 years. So it's got hundreds of reviews. So you start learning then, hey, you got to start revamping those places because things change.
Just like hotels do, right?
Yeah, you have to start revamping them because things change. You know, like you don't ever see. You remember back in the day, you used to go to the hotel and they'd have the Super Nintendo remote on them. That's gone. You know, people have they can bring their own system and hook it up. The hotels, just like if we're going to be in this longevity, long term wise, you have to upgrade your units. So old furniture. I mean, think about it now. I mean, or this is another thing you could do. You could keep their furniture, let them know, hey, this is how much I can't pay you the full price for your furniture. I could probably give you $1,000 for all of it. If they say no, but like, hey, well, if they say yes, no, if they say no, you'd have to find a way to sell it off so you can get your new furniture, or you can keep the furniture in there, get a couple reservations, use that money to get new furniture. Multiple ways to do it, but yeah.
But most of the time,
what's your issue with it? What's your issue with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a client and that's been with us for a while. And they want to hop out. Yeah, I see it as a business. You know, you gotta. I can't give you that much for the furniture. Maybe back in the day, turnkey Airbnb. Oh, that's great, man. That's great. You know, I can give you pretty good money for that. But yeah, not so much anymore. You kind of want to jump in without a big debt or a big payment you got to make for some furniture if you're going to take something over. And we even did a deal where, like, you know, we took one over from a client for $500 with fully furnished. But the thing is, we set it up like this, you know, we'll take it over, we'll take over your lease, but after the lease is up, you're welcome to have this furniture if you want it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
we're not technically buying this furniture. We're gonna just take over this unit, start paying the rent, utilities, all that stuff. Give you $500, you know, for your trouble. We're angling at zero. We're just trying to do that with zero, and then at the end of the lease, you can have the furniture back, or we can help you sell it, whatever. But she's, I gotta get something for it. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Well, how about $500? Yeah, that sounds good. We'll do 500. And so, probably at the end of this lease, or if we extend or whatever, they're not going to want that furniture. They'll probably forget about it anyways. They're not going to worry about some used furniture that they had at Airbnb a year ago at, you know, there's whatever. Oh. So I guess that's a way to do it.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to do it. But yeah, furniture, man. Yeah, especially if you, like those times, if you're in one of those swing seasons or things are swinging down, you need to be able to provide good value, you know. So yeah, I've been buying up those Zenith King beds left and right. So yeah, those are really good beds, man. And They're the wide king beds, so they're not the long ones. So they fit pretty good in rooms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fit about 4 or 5 people on that thing.
Yeah. Basically.
Well, man, this has been a great show. I love these me and you apps. We just brainstorm and go back and forth. It's fun.
Yeah, man. Episode 243, ching ching in the bag.
Oh man, people can find us at, where can they find us at, Mike?
Find us liveletthrive.com, email us liveletthrive@gmail.com, send us like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. By the way, we're gonna have a big our YouTube membership. We're gonna have our YouTube membership. I'm gonna post some more videos on there. I got an exciting, huge insurance payout. I'm not gonna share on the podcast, but I will let you guys know when it drops on the membership. And Steve now already knows about it. He wanted to talk about it today, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna save that one to talk about how you can get a huge payout. Once it's up on our memberships, I'll tell you guys about it so you guys can go join the YouTube membership and check that out. But yeah, follow us. And also our Dallas meetup is going to be March 23rd, 6:30 p.m. Venture X. We will send out the details here in a couple days so everyone can sign up. Man, I'm sorry the last time we had tornado sirens. I was under my stairs, all types of crap going on in the DFW. So yes, that will be on the March 23rd. And yeah, man, come check us out. And yeah, that's where y'all can find us. IG, Instagram, TikTok, all that.
argisrentals@gmail.com. Oh, no. Don't send us there. argisrentals.com, argiscorporaterentals.com. ARGEST. Argist is the largest. Hit me up. We'll manage your stuff. We'll find your stuff. We'll find you some arbitrage. We'll put them together. We'll do everything. Myka, Airbnb. Hit up Myka at Airbnb.com. Yeah, support us because, we love you guys.
Yeah, if you guys have those owner finance deals, send them to me. All of them.
All right, my brother.
We are out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.